Okay, today we're working on a 2001 PT Cruiser limited edition. Found out that the fan is not working and stuff on here, so we're going to proceed to pull apart the fan area to try to get it out to replace it. In order to do that, you actually have to remove the air box, the battery plate. Don't forget that you're going to have to drain the radiator stuff too, so make sure you open up the pet lock, which is down to the bottom left hand side of the radiator. Drain that out, because you're going to have to pull the upper radiator hose and stuff when you go to once you get all that off, you need to pull back the weather stripping here and stuff on the front. Disconnect the actual radiator hose here, and also on the front here, I saw this in another YouTube video and stuff, you actually have to remove these bolts here. There's 1, 2, 3 on each side of the actual frame. Once you get those loose, and the one here on the front loose, then this whole top cover here will pull off, and then you can actually tip the radiator forward and give that enough room to pull the fan, which is right here, out of there. Okay, now that we've actually got the nuts and bolts on here, this actual piece we were talking about earlier, that's right out on the over top here, just like this, just lay it down to the side. Except you don't have to take all the cable stuff off there at all, you don't need to do that. Once all this is done, put your rubber stripping back, you'll pull the radiator here forward enough, and then the fan itself should lift right out of here. As I was saying before, you had to pull all the air breather stuff out and pull the front shroud cover, which is we got laying back here and stuff on the ground. That just has some snaps after a couple screws on each side and stuff to pull out. It just pops out and stuff with little clips that fit into here. And I found the best way to do this, to get this fan out of here, is there's a couple bolts just down in the inside of here. I don't know if you can see them or not. There's 2 of them down here on this side. Just take them out so that loosens this bar and stuff enough. So when you pry this forward and stuff enough, you can work your fan out this way a little bit so you get the top half over this and work everything through the top half of this here. So as you can see, we got our fan out and such. So the next thing we're going to be doing is replacing the fan back in. Okay, we left off last time and trying to put the radiator in and the cooling fan. On the cooling fan, if you look real close, down here along the side and stuff, you'll see a bolt down in here. It actually holds on part of the fan. One up here, another up here, and then there'll be one down along the side of the fan down here. And I don't know if you can see it, kind of point to it down here a little bit, but there's one down here too, and then you'll find 2 of them on the bottom down here. If you look at it, you'll have to jack the car up, but do not jack on the front part of the car up here, because that part here, this part here will bend real easy. So what I've done is taken my floor jack and the board, and I've actually lined right up with the transaxle base on here. So you can raise it up just enough so you don't have to damage anything, but also make sure you get enough room to be able to move around in here. This here is also the bare, which is the plug-in for that fan down here at the bottom. You'll find out that sometimes this older ones down here need to be cleaned up a little bit, which I use some of my cleaner spray for electronics to clean that up inside there, and made that attachment to attach back to that much easier. Now we're going to move back around to the top, since we've got all this stuff down here together. And we begin our reassembly of actually putting the top bar back in here. In order to put the top bar back in, you just have to raise this bar back up just like so. Make sure that you line up actual pins for the hood that are on here as well. So once you get everything slid in, everything should line up for you on the inside here, just like so. Also, as a reminder, I forgot to tell you about these little rubber dams that are on here, which are the hood supports. You want to make sure you put them in before you tighten down your bar here, so that they slide underneath and support like they're supposed to. The final stages after putting everything back together on the PT is making sure that you get enough coolant in there. As you can see inside there, there's still bubbles coming up. You want to make sure the engine's cold and that you pour enough coolant in there so all the bubbles return back out, because it won't properly heat like it's supposed to in the car. Reiterating, we're going to do the grill. Obviously, when you put everything in, it has notches here on the end, on both sides, and stuff that line back up. When you pull everything apart to pull this band again, like I said, you're going to have to pull this bolt here completely out, these 3 bolts here on each side, and loosen your top radiator, and also make sure you drain the radiator itself before you do the hoses and stuff, so that you can get this top hose off of here. Once you do that, this whole bar across here comes off, and you lean everything forward and pull the fan up through. And remember, on the reverse set, putting the back on, make sure you got your rubbers and stuff here on top of this stuff for your radiator to support, and then go ahead and tighten them back down, put this back in, make sure you put your sensor back in here as well, and then, as I said, to finish buttoning it up on here, just latch them in the sets in here, and everything kind of snaps back in place again on the car. Then just put your bolts back here and here, here and here. That's pretty much about it. Next thing to do, as I said, follow up with putting coolant in, and you'll notice you probably use about 1.5 gallons. If you want to do complete change, probably 2 gallons if you don't want to reuse the old coolant. Once you got everything poured inside the coolant, inside the radiator and such, and you've got all the bubbles out, you should know the temperature actually should be about 1/2 on the gauge and stuff when you look in here. See if you can see that or not. Temperature gauge is off to the left here. So it should be right between the center lines and stuff for the PT, for the right proper temperature for 196 degrees. Yes, it's an abnormal thermostat than the regulars. Most are 190, but PTs are 196 stuff on there. And it's normal for the fan. The new one, yes, the new one we just put in, actually cycle through when that motor gets hot enough. It'll kick on and on. You can hear the fan just kicked on after sitting here and idling just for a few minutes. That lets us know that everything works well. Well, that's it for our video tonight. Have a good day.